Story 1. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to grow up and turn off the lights and keep the door open for bed? A little backstory about my husband. He is afraid of the dark. He doesn't talk about it much when I bring it up, but when he does talk about it, he says when he was younger he said he had a paranormal event that happened to him where he would see shadow people and they touch him. I don't believe it. His mom says he slept with a nightlight when he got in his teen years and has had one ever since. He refuses to watch anything that talks about demons and ghosts. Now let's jump up to the present day. My husband has been able to sleep without a nightlight, but the past week he's been having a hard time sleeping after we went and saw the Bogeyman movie, and he says it triggered his episode, which I don't understand because he's okay with watching monster movies. His nightlight needs a new bulb and he now dims the lights down or closes our bedroom door. I told him last night he can't do that and needs to keep the door open so our daughter can come in our bed at night, so he asked if he can dim the living room lights and I told him no and he needs to grow up. He then says he needs the light on because he's scared and wish I could support him. I then got out of bed and went to sleep in the living room to sleep and closes the door, leaving him in the dark. He told me not to leave and says I helped him feel safe. I ignored him and closed the door. I later came back to bed leaving the light on and came and cuddle him. He was shaking really bad. He hasn't talked to me much in the morning. Am I the a-hole? Redditor comments. 1. You're the a-hole. You make him feel safe and you betrayed him by turning off the lights, leaving him alone in the dark. You miserable soul. The shadow people touching him sounds an awful lot like foggy memories of sexual assault from his childhood that he's repackaged to cope. You sound like an unloving, callous spouse. 2. You're the a-hole. 2 things. 1. He has a phobia he's struggling with and you're being needlessly dickish about it. 2. A childhood memory of shadow people and they touch him that results in a crippling adult phobia is the most obvious trauma memory cover for being molested as a child I've ever heard. He needs therapy to address the root cause of this, given that he obviously wasn't visited by some sort of paranormal shadow creature that fancied prodding a kid with its finger. Maybe it's a repressed memory, maybe it's something else. Either way, he needs help and your actions are very unkind from the person he's meant to be able to count on. 3. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. How dare you make fun of him and his phobia? You are such a cruel and heartless human being. You would probably place a tarantula on the back of someone afraid of spiders or lock someone with agoraphobia Jane to a closet. You really felt powerful, didn't you? So strong and dominant? I hope your BF leaves you. You clearly don't have his back or feel anything at all towards him. Wow, you're the a-hole. Edited to add, I just read you are a cheater, too. Wow, well, that explains why you are incapable of feeling empathy. You are a narcissist who only cares about themselves. Run, BF, run and never look back. 4. You're the a-hole. Why are you with a man you have so little empathy for though? Honestly. Who cares if you believe his reasoning? He is still clearly affected by his phobia. It's so hard for men to be upfront about these things and seek help because of people and attitudes like you. I'm saying all this as someone who is very light sensitive, so his nightlights would kill all sleep for me. Your husband needs support and a therapist. Not a bully making him feel bad for his phobias. 5. You're the a-hole. Where did you learn social skills? From an episode of 60 Days In. Unless he acts like this with a multitude of other issues and his only deal is being in the dark, you are so in the wrong. The man bared his soul to you and you closed the door in his face, in the dark. You honestly should be ashamed. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for bowing out of an international trip due to PTSD? Backstory: my younger brother died very suddenly nearly 2 years ago due to sudden cardiac death. I have been struggling severely since and have been diagnosed with PTSD. I have been traveling a lot since he died, mostly as a trauma response because I have a hard time going anywhere in my hometown due to memories I have with him. Most trips have been long weekends with only one, to visit my best friend from high school in Japan, being 10 days. Another friend and I have been talking about going to Ireland. When it was initially discussed, I thought we'd be there about a week. When we met to discuss it recently, it turned into a week in Ireland and a week in Scotland. Sounds amazing, but my PTSD has been truly unmanageable recently. I am in counseling and am in the process of finding a medication regimen that works. However, my symptoms in the last month have been uncontrollable. Hyperarousal, no appetite, cannot sleep, flashbacks, you name it. This trip was potentially going to be the last 2 weeks of October. Today I told my friend I cannot do it and I told her the truth as to why. Nothing had been officially booked, so no money had been spent on this. She wanted to start doing exactly that next week, and I just couldn't bring myself to do that feeling the way I do. I know it's over 4 months away, but I felt it was better to say something now before any money was spent than to push myself too far and potentially break down closer to the trip when we couldn't get money back. However, I feel awful about doing this. I know I have been disappointed when people bailed on trips with me before, but in truth, those were mere days in advance where money was lost. I don't want to let myself off the hook, though, and not take responsibility for disappointing her. So, thoughts? Am I the a-hole? Redditor comments. 1. Not the a-hole. If your health, physical or mental, does not allow you to manage the trip, then your being honest with your friend was the right thing to do. You mentioned that you thought you could do the 1 week in Ireland, but that the 2 weeks seemed to be too much. Is it possible for you to return after the 1 week and let your friend continue on without you? 2. Not the a-hole. Any friend will be sad but completely understand. I'm sure she's happy you're taking care of yourself. I'm so glad you're seeking help. As a licensed therapist, you may want to look into a protocol with your therapist called EMDR. It's got a great rate of recovery and better statistically than most PTSD medications. Read the book, The Body Keeps the Score. It will certainly help you. 3. Not the a-hole. I also have PTSD, and the best thing you can do yourself and your loved ones is to take care of yourself. It took about 20 years of nightly nightmares for M to be diagnosed with a medication called prazosin. If you get nightmares, I recommend talking to your doctor about it, because getting a good sleep can also really help with your daytime symptoms. I wish you the very best of luck in your recovery. 4. Not the a-hole. Nothing was booked and it was far in advance. Don't worry about it. Take care of yourself. Some friends will understand what you're going through and others won't. 5. You didn't spend any money, or make her lose any money by canceling your participation in the trip, and there are 4 months left until October. On top of that, you cancelled for health reasons, which doesn't count as bailing on someone. You didn't even write anything about her being upset or angry, so I imagine your friend understands and respects your situation as well. Not the a-hole. Mental health is health. Stay safe, and best of luck to you. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for yelling at my husband and demanding an apology? So my husband, M, 44, and I, F, 39, have a daughter who is 9 months old. Of course, at this age she can make some pretty stinky diapers. Yes, this is where this post is going today. So to help while we are out, I have a diaper bag packed with special plastic bags that have kind of a nice smell that I dispose of the offending diapers in when I am done. Well, it doesn't always help, of course. She can doll out some doozies. But I got them at my baby shower and just stuck them in the diaper bag to use, whatever. 2 nights ago we were over at a friend's house for game night, and there was a bad diaper that I changed. And it was really bad, not gonna lie. Like kick you in the face. Now I need to go to church and have the kid blessed bad. And the baggies with the nice smell did absolutely nothing to hide it. I didn't want to throw the diaper away in my friend's trash can, which is in the kitchen, or just leave it in the trash in the bathroom. It was near the end of the night and I figured we would be going home soon and I wouldn't have to change her again, most likely. So I wrapped the diaper up with a couple of the bags, no chance of anything leaking out, and stuffed it in the bottom of the diaper bag to throw away later. Not what I would prefer, but just trying to make it through here. So about 20 minutes later my husband grabs the diaper bag to get something, opens it up and gets a whiff. I am sure it was awful, not going to deny that, but he proceeds to make a huge production of it. Like loudly saying, "What died in here, why would you leave this here?" and making that scrunched up face in front of all our friends. I explain I was going to throw it away soon as we got home, but he continues to complain about it. Even my friend, who is trying to help, says it is fine to throw away in their trash, but I am trying to explain why I didn't in the first place. Honestly, I was mortified and embarrassed that now all our friends, about 10 people, knew I left the shitty diaper in the bag. Once we left, I immediately got on my husband's case about it. Told him he better never embarrass me like that again, and demanded that he apologize. I definitely raised my voice. I was livid and seeing red. He said he wasn't thinking of it like that, just that it was so disgusting he couldn't help it. No apology given, but asked that I warn him if there is a next time, and he will try not to react. I had to take a bit and cool down after, but have been fretting over it since. Now I just feel bad about the whole thing and honestly am mortified. It will be a while before I can hang out with our friends and not be embarrassed about the whole ordeal. I don't think he meant to embarrass me on purpose, but he still doesn't understand where I am coming from and why I got so upset. So am I the a-hole for demanding the apology? Redditor comments. 1. Soft, you're the a-hole. No need to be embarrassed about your kid's bowel movements. The absolute courteous thing to do is take that diaper home or find the trash can outside the house. A quick way to diffuse your husband's dramatics is to agree that the diaper is ridiculously foul and how you wouldn't want to leave the toxic bomb behind in someone else's home, right? Then move on. The part that's not acceptable is for you going off on your husband. If you expect calm from others, you have to present calm yourself. 2. You're the a-hole. The way you describe it makes his reaction of shock and horror totally acceptable. He sounds disgusted. You're well aware of why, yet proceed to get him alone and demand an apology. For what exactly? Reacting? You could have defused the situation but instead chose to act like an embarrassed schoolgirl over a natural bodily function, then come at him telling him he better never embarrass you like that again. If a female said her husband spoke to her that way, people would likely be telling her to run. 3. Not the a-hole. Though I'm also going to say this is more your own fault. After all, you did booby-trap him by leaving it in the diaper bag without telling him. Why are you embarrassed that your baby took a huge, deadly dump? That's what babies do. Maybe your husband put on a bit of a show, but you could have just laughed it off and said sorry, I forgot to warn you, then all of you including your friends could have had a laugh and gone on with the night. Next time if you're in your friend's house and this happens, just tell your friend that your kid just took the world's smelliest shit and ask if there's a place you could discard it outside immediately. Or else at least warn your husband that it's stashed in the diaper bag. Otherwise don't be surprised if he reacts that way again. 4. Not the a-hole. You were trying to be courteous to your host by not leaving a toxic bomb in their home. Wrapping a nasty diaper and putting it in the diaper bag for later disposal is not unusual. Poopy smells in a diaper bag happen. My son went through a stage of giving me a diaper explosion every single time we went out. So a baggie of soiled clothes was always in there, and depending on where we were when the explosion occurred, yes, sometimes there'd be a baggie with dirty wipes and diaper that I would throw out in an outside bin when I got home, or to a place I could throw it out. I would have been mortified and livid if my husband reprimanded me in front of others about it. Your husband's reaction was juvenile and uncalled for. Sounds like he should be designated diaper duty and poop patrol for the foreseeable future. 5. You're the a-hole. You spent 2 paragraphs describing how bad the diapers smell, so your husband's reaction seems pretty normal. Your reaction, however, was over the top. Yelling that he better not embarrass you like that again. You should be the one doing the apologizing.